Hey, everybody, this is Mary.
And this is Julie.
And you are listening to the High Priestess Hype Club.
Oh, hey, we're back for part 2 of Dream Work.
Hey! So in this episode, we're going to talk about interpretation. So how do you determine what's going on in your dreams, right? Because some of them are doozies. You know, we talked about one of the shows, I think I started a show, our spiritual hygiene show, about that dream I had with the cockroaches crawling all over me.
Oh, yes.
You know, yeah.
It's
so
tense.
a lot of cleansing after that. Yeah. But you know, a lot of interpretation, guys, there's a little bit of an art to it, not so much of a science. So don't worry about, well, am I interpreting this wrong? It's you have to kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's the fun and the frustrating part about it too.
Yeah.
So for me, if you didn't hear that show, first of all, you should go back and listen to it. But of course,
not a prerequisite, but
no.
we would think you'll get some benefit from it.
Exactly. But it was because I hadn't put any protections around myself, and the cockroaches, like I can't stand cockroaches. So I was imagining all this like not so good energy crawling all over me.
Yeah.
That's how it manifested in my dream as cockroaches. So I had to do some spiritual cleansing after that.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that is some of what dream interpretation is what exactly those things mean to you in your life.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, books can be helpful, right? People have kind of like written like this means this, like you were saying earlier, like houses mean whatever. And
right.
That like, yes, there's a compiled book of possible meanings for all of that, but sometimes that's not what it is. Sometimes you have a different like understanding of what symbols mean for you, and don't like discount them just because you got a book that says, well, birds mean this, not this to you.
Right. But birds could mean to you something from your grandfather.
Right.
See, so that's the thing. This is the same thing I say for tarot. If you're learning tarot, the book is interesting to get some information, but long term, it's what you connect with and what you intuit from that and the meaning for you. Yeah. So, you know, I may see a hospital and see, oh gosh, you know, like that means to me someone's sick. But like for Julie, she may know a bunch of people that work in a hospital, like as nurses and, you know, families, right? So that can mean different things. That's why the book interpretation can be interesting, maybe helpful, but it's more about what those symbols mean to you. So that's a really important piece of dream interpretation. That's why you get jammed up with the book sometimes.
Yeah, they can be helpful to get you thinking about things.
Right.
Yeah. Or if you're like, geez, I don't know what the heck that was. So,
yeah.
And especially if you asked, because if you went in asking for a dream and you're looking at it that way, that's one thing. If you didn't really set an intention, you're like, whoa, I had some bonkers ass dreams last night. What the hell was that about? Doesn't always mean it was necessarily something poignant, right? Like, did I watch a crazy movie? Did I like have a rough day at work? Did you know, are there other ways it could leak through? Because our minds are always kind of reconciling what happened with our day while we sleep. And integrating that in any lessons we've learned. And sometimes that can come up in dreams. So, yeah.
So those are all great points. So yeah, these are all things. This is the part of the art of interpretation. So, and we were going to talk about reoccurring dreams, Jules. I know that was. Yeah. So I have a lot of reoccurring dreams about being in my car and driving, or chasing after my car, or loaning my car to somebody. And if you know me, guys, I love my cars. Love them. I don't know why.
I car too.
I do. I love my car. And the last car I had was one of the reasons why I picked it was because the color listed on the registration or the form was blue flame, and I'm a big St. Michael fan. So I was like,
oh yeah,
you know, and it was there's a lot of other things I liked about it too. But so, you know, just take that for what it's worth. But cars to me are if someone, you know, if I've handed my keys over to somebody, I'm like giving someone something of value. Who am I handing my keys to? Like, what is going on? Where are they? How are they treating it?
Yes.
You know, if I've given them something of value. So, you know, the car may be what I'm actually thinking about, but it could also mean something that's really important to me. Yeah. So what's happening that I'm handing that over to somebody? Or, you know, if I'm driving down a one-way street the wrong way.
Yeah.
Wrong
Maybe there's something in there.
direction.
Right.
Right.
This is interesting too, because I have a lot of dreams about my car because I too value a car, but I think it's for a different reason, right?
Yeah.
A lot of it to me, my car is like safety and freedom at the same time. I usually like to drive wherever we're going. I like to have my car with me. I have a lot of like anxiety around being left somewhere. So I like, if I got my car, I'm okay. A
Right.
lot of the dreams I have around my car, I will have them, and it's to the point where I'm like, I know this is going to happen, that I'm going to lose my car in the parking lot. I'm not going to be able to find it. And
Right.
so then I can look at like, well, what part of my life do I feel like I'm losing something, or, feel like I can't travel or leave, or whatever that is that's going on. Right.
Right.
So while the car is the same symbol in the dream, we have different meanings behind it, right?
Right.
The other one I have, you said yours is like either like chasing it or who am I giving it to?
Yeah.
My other one is that like the brakes don't work.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, I mean, and that foot is jammed all
It's
the way
jammed
in there,
down.
right? It's kind of like the opposite of the like you're trying to run, but you can't run in your
Right.
dream kind of
Right.
situation.
Yep.
But
Yep.
yeah, but so symbols can mean different things to different people, but they can get really personal. You know what that is for you. You know why this keeps coming up.
Right. And I think off air, guys, usually Julie and I brainstorm what we're going to talk about. So one of the other things we were mentioning was about people in dreams. So, symbols from the perspective of, well, what does that symbol mean to me? This can also be, what does that person mean to you? Or, Jules, you had a great explanation for it.
Oh, I read somewhere, and like I said, I don't know if it was Jungian or where it came from, so don't like quote me, but I know it was somebody smarter than me, and said, who had done a lot of research, said that you need to look at like if the person in the dream is acting like themselves or not. Sometimes if they're acting like themselves, it is about that person, right? It might be about your relationship with them, or how, something that may have occurred with them.
Yeah.
When they're not acting like themselves, it can be a piece of you that's being shown to yourself. Like it can be like, what is the aspect of that person that you kind of associate with, kind of like shadow work, right? Like sometimes with people too, we either admire or don't like something that we see in ourselves and other people.
Right.
Depending on how we judge that about ourselves. So that can be reflected by who shows up in your dreams as well.
That's true. Yeah. And I've had dreams where someone's in my dream that I don't like, but they're acting like a different way. And I'm like, wait a minute, why are you acting like, why are you acting a certain way? And then I have to realize, like, again, it's not about the person, it's about the aspect of what's happening there. Yeah. And I may not be acknowledging it because I don't like the person that's connected to it. See what I mean? So there's some, you have to kind of think about it and sit with it a little bit, guys. And what you might interpret at the beginning, a couple days may pass and you'd be like, oh, wait, I know what that is. And that's okay. Because your subconscious is still working with it.
Right.
So,
and sometimes it takes a long time. We'll be for real. We'll just be vulnerable here. Will we have to cut this? Because I'm like, I can't believe I talked about this. Hopefully not. We'll be fine. But I had for a long time, one of my ex-boyfriends, we didn't even really date a long time, but from early college, it would show up a lot, and but it wasn't actually about them, right? It's like me working out, like, what are expectations of who I am in relationships, or how I handle something, or do I stand up for myself in certain like relationship arenas.
Yeah.
And so it was interesting to watch over time how, when that person would show up in a dream, how I reacted to them, how I like felt around them, and what kind of activities changed in there. So if you have somebody that shows up a lot, again, it totally started out, it was like just, I had a problem with them.
Right.
And that's where the stream started. It was real, like, I don't like you.
No.
And I usually end up kind of friends with my exes. So it was it's a really different kind of relationship than I have. So to watch it change as in the dream world, I really think is more about me and how I process relationship with people, as opposed to a relationship I haven't spoken to them ever. So but it can also change over time. So it's something to pay attention to. If somebody's been showing up for you for a long time, what does that actually represent?
Right. So
Yeah.
if you're having something like that, like if you're having a dream where someone's showing up for you, a lot of reoccurring dream, you can always put out the suggestion of like, why does this dream keep happening?
Ooh.
Why is this person showing up? Why is it changing? Like, what's going on? And see if you can get something out of that part, like
Yeah,
for your
that's a good
next dream.
idea.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're giving your mind the option of opening up kind of the ideas that it's having. Why is this dream coming up? You're saying, well, tell me more, mind. And the mind's like, oh, okay, let me fill that in.
Yeah.
So it'll give you more information as you work with it. That's why it's important to set that intention. I know it might sound weird, but it's almost like mindful dreaming,
No, I was gonna say it's very similar in some ways. Like, I think what you're saying is really important because I think a lot of us just dream and it happens to us, right? Like,
Right.
I'm hearing it happened, and now what am I gonna do about this?
Right.
But I think the more intentional you are with it, it's almost like doing like a guided meditation, or how like hypnosis can work when you go in with like, now you're the hypnotist. I don't know for sure, but
No, but
in my experiential
mhm,
work, right?
yeah.
Experiential therapies and modalities. I think going into it with the intention, you can go into dream with a similar thing, and it's kind of working out the same kind of pathways in
Right.
your mind, except in a different way.
Mhm.
Am I just making that up?
No,
Does
it's
that make
perfect.
sense?
It's perfectly. It's the same place.
I'm
So you're
checking
going,
with the expert.
yes,
Like,
yes. You're going into your subconscious mind a different way.
yeah.
So it's a different, if you find one time you can't like relax enough for hypnosis, but you can knock out to sleep, then maybe it's the work has to come in the sleep time for a while and you
Yeah.
take a little break for hypnosis or vice versa. But it does do, it goes to the similar place and works with similar things in the brain. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's just important to make sure that if you say, I just want to have a pleasant dream, that's okay too. Think about how you come out of that dream. How did you feel? Because
Yeah.
sometimes when you have really good dreams, you're like, I woke up and I'm happy,
Right.
you know? So think
Yeah.
about that too. If you wake up and even if you don't remember the dream, remember how you came out of it, like how you woke up in the morning. Did I wake up
Oh, yeah.
happy, refreshed? Did I wake up, a little
Like
sad?
pensive or
And
right.
right. Yeah. So that can tell you some things too. Or the other thing I've done
Yeah.
is I've said before I've gone to bed, want to remember my dreams.
Yeah.
And if I don't remember them, help me remember them throughout the day if there's a symbol or a sign or something like that that I need to see.
Ooh.
Yeah. And if you forget that before you go to bed, just do it when you get up in the morning.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you're telling yourself to help bring it forth and it'll show
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And don't get frustrated again if you make these intentions and then you wake up and you're like, I don't remember anything. It's okay because you're still working with that brain.
Yeah.
So, and here's the other thing I've found sometimes where I've been like, oh, okay, I think this symbol is this in the dream.
Mhm.
So I think this is the message. If I
Mhm.
get it wrong within a week or so, I'll have another dream correcting what I got wrong.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's like, no, this
That's
is the symbol
interesting
again.
too.
Yeah. This is, but and
But
now
look
here
at
is it
how
a
it is
different way.
here.
Right.
Mhm.
So just let your mind do that work for you.
I
Yeah.
love that.
And here's the thing, if you're asleep, again, with the conscious mind turned down, you're not really rejecting what's coming into your subconscious. Your subconscious is wide open. So that's why you want to try to keep it with something to focus on that's positive.
Yeah, like your judgment's not activated, like
Right.
all of that. Mhm.
Hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's wide open. It's like, oh, give me the suggestions, give me whatever it is. And so the other thing I'll mention is if you're like trying to write something to remember or to take with you, don't write it negatively. So in other
Yeah.
words, you want to say, I want abundance and happiness in my life, not remove sadness and pressure. It, I know it's still but it's different.
Well, it's kind of like that thing that comes up in different therapeutic
Mhm.
modalities, right? Where when you're setting intentions, like you always set a positive intention, like not a negative one,
Right.
because it was explained to me once, like, don't think about a yellow Jeep. Well, all you're thinking about is a yellow Jeep,
Right.
right? Like
Right.
that's what it brings up.
Right.
So instead of having to bring that up and then dismiss it,
Hmm.
like
Right. Just don't even conjure it
instead
up
of
at
like
all.
saying, I want to get rid of
Rid
this,
of. Hmm.
it's like, right. It's like, I want to bring in abundance. Like,
Hmm.
well, I'm scared about I'm not going to be able to pay my bills. I need more
Right.
money. Like, you
Hmm.
put the positive side of that.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to bring in more money, not I don't want to lose my
house
whatever
or
house.
whatever. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool. That's
So
a scary one. Apparently that's why that came up.
yeah. Yeah. I'm with you, but that's right. So it's the positive,
Yeah.
I'll have more than enough to pay my mortgage and all of my, responsibilities, commitments,
Yeah.
things like that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a great way to work with your mind, guys. Even at night, you can give it's repairing and it's doing its work, but also you're giving it some cool things to focus on out of the whole thing. Yeah. Do we have anything else to talk about?
I don't know. I think that we get messaging from people sometimes, like we mentioned before, sometimes you get visits and, you might want to take a minute to discern what that is. Also, just randomly, I remembered that, like, I used to, when I was pregnant, I would have dreams that my
Oh,
baby
yeah.
was there, that, like,
Yeah.
they were there and talking to me and telling me things.
Mhm.
And so that was interesting, but I
Mhm.
was too tired to think maybe I should write this down. So if you're gonna have a baby or something and that kinda happens, like, see what's
Mhm.
happening, see what messages you're getting from that. Is it
Yeah.
anxiety dream because, like, "Fuck, I'm nervous about being in the hospital or home birth or whatever's gonna happen," or
Mhm.
is it just, like, maybe they're visiting you a little bit?
Yeah. And that's a great way. I didn't even think to say that. Sometimes people wake up and someone they know is like standing around their bed, like
Mm,
that's it. So it is, you're still sort of in dream time a bit if you realize, when you first wake
right,
up,
like,
someone's there. Right. So you haven't come quite into your conscious mind at that point, but nothing to be scared of. You can just ask them what they're doing there.
you're like, "Hey, what's up, bro?"
Hey, what's up? Can I help you with something? What do you
Right.
need? Yeah. So super easy to do. Super
Do
easy.
you
So
find that with people or is that also sometimes just, like, medium stuff? I'm just curious now. This is not always on topic. I'm just like, do people just show up because 'cause you're a medium and you wake up and it's like, "Dude, I hadn't even had coffee yet."
that has happened in the past. Yes. Yes. Which is kind of funny. I'm like, what happens? Like, who are you for? So, and I know a friend of mine who's a medium lived near a highway. So she used to have a lot of people crossing through her bedroom off the highway, accidents and
Wow,
walking off the highway. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So she had to say to them, like, listen, if you're going to come here, you're going right out the door out to the other part of the world, So if she happened to see
Yeah.
someone walking around, it was usually somebody from the
Spiritual
highway.
hygiene.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, but yeah. And sometimes it's a relative.
Yeah,
Yeah, sometimes it's relative.
interesting.
Yeah, that I'm like, "Hey, what's up? What do you need?
Yeah.
What are we looking for?"
But it's
No,
an easier time to kinda talk to you, so that makes
right.
sense because 'cause you're in that, like, middle space.
Well, exactly, and I was gonna say that when people show up in the dreams, a lot of times because your conscious mind is quiet,
Mhm.
they have an easier time of getting to you. That's why, like, a lot of times I have people say to me, "Well, I don't see signs during the day, but they come to my dreams." Well, yeah, because you're a little more open then.
Yeah. "Hey, girl,
So
hey, you're not on your phone, and I can show you something."
right.
Or whatever. Or
Right.
whatever.
Right. Right. Or you've like ignored the signs. And now they're like, all right, we gotta talk in your
Never
dream now.
done that.
Oh, no, I've never done that at all. Nah. So work with them, guys. I think it'll be interesting to
Yeah,
hear if what you're doing, if you use any of our techniques and see what you can get, gleam out of your dreams. We'd love to hear about it. Yeah.
absolutely. Yes, you
So
should email us at
mhm.
highpriestesshypeclub@gmail.com with
Mhm.
all your insights. You can DM us
Yeah.
on our Instagram or Facebook or TikTok. Let us know what's
Yeah.
happening. Could do all of
Yes.
that.
All kinds of things, yes. And we're coming into spooky season, guys. So we have some other great shows coming up. We have some different options of different services that are coming. So just watch this space. We have more to tell you.
Yes,
So like, subscribe, share, tell all your friends about us. And we appreciate you so much. And
absolutely.
remember, you are magic. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at High Priestess Hype Club and subscribe to us on whatever platform you're currently listening to us on now because we're back every Thursday to hype you up. Email us at highpriestesshypeclub@gmail.com and tell us what you think. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.